Namaste, strong lotuses out there, and welcome to Monday Flow. So, today is going to be a little mandala snippet. So, moving in a circle and finding our way into maybe a slightly different pattern of movement, so a slightly different pattern of thought, perhaps as well. So today is kind of a medium strength flow. Do go easy, and as always, listen to your body, and when in doubt, take rest. So we're going to get started in standing today, coming to the front of the mat. And don't worry if you're not feeling like the most balanced tree there is. You can always come near a wall. There won't be too much balancing today. So let's take a moment just bringing your feet to hips distance, roughly supporting you under the knees, under the hips. Lifting and landing the toes. Hands down either side. Let's just take a moment to just sort of rotate the wrists, the ankles. Feel like wherever you're coming from, whether you're coming from sleep or coming from a day's work, we're getting into the body. That feeling is going to help us get in. Let's move that left foot down, take a little heel roll. Plant the feet down more evenly. Let that wrist roll carry on up the arms, into the shoulders. Take the hands to the shoulders and just bring those elbows to roll as well. So we're already sort of creating small circles. Let that movement change direction, this time one elbow at a time, like a front crawl. Just nice and easy going. And then when you're ready, just change that to come up and take your hands to interlace in front of you. Press the fingertips forward, stretch up, and even rise onto the toes if you're feeling comfortable too. Shoulders down from the ears, although the hands are rising. And then exhale, release, nice low shoulders, and feel that moment that the hands come either side of the hips. And let your body really just stand tall. Heavy, loose fingertips. Closed eyes. Finding your breath. So with a couple more breaths, just sort of noticing how good it feels to breathe. Our treat to ourselves on our mat is to use that full loop of breath. And allow that to help us come to our center. Exhaling, start to move your weight into your left foot, picking up your right knee and just giving that a squeeze, and that might already feel quite nice. Dragging a little space through the hip, lower back, and then let's elongate forwards through that right heel, so we're hovering. Doesn't have to be this high, can be a little lower. We're breathing for 3. Starting to pull the fingers just behind the chest to open that chest up. 2. Squeezing the hips together. And then starting to step that right foot behind you. Turn your palms face up, so you're moving almost through a brief warrior 3. And just see if you can land those right toes slowly on lunge. Big breath in, rise those fingertips. If it feels good to slightly lean back, you can. Just feel like you can support that. Shoulders are low and jaw isn't holding or withholding. Exhale, bring the spine neutral, ball up the fist and just pull those elbows apart. So you're into sort of a kind of Venice Beach muscle man. And over the next couple of breaths, just really try to spread those shoulder blades and peel out through the wrist to the fingertips. Exhale, let the elbows bend, lift your chest and see if you can just gently land to your right knee using your thigh strength. Big breath in, reach the arms up. So you might need to shuffle around a little bit if you haven't landed quite where the hips are feeling your best stretch. And you might come back a little bit if you need to from that stretch forward. So you might be slightly back. Good, so we're going to find a little half Hanuman. If it suits you, you can keep your hands off the ground with me or just move them to the ground to help you wriggle back. We're going to take tucked back toes and see if we can frame the hips with both hands, bringing your left heel to flex. If that's not comfortable for the knee or if you just need to take a little support, just bring the hands down. Exhale, let's move forwards to bring both shins to the back of the mat. Child's pose, take it wide for a moment, knees a little bit wider than the torso, maybe a little rock side to side. And just breathe into that stretch forwards of the fingertips. Shoulders take their expansion, lower back is free. As we inhale, we're going to lift up to your tabletop. Hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips, and inhale to round your spine. Exhale, move forwards until you come to the belly. Bringing your hands under the shoulders. Peel your chest off the mat with your next breath in. Find a little arch. Lift the hips and then tuck your toes for a longer child's pose back on tucked toes. We're going to repeat that. Inhale, round the spine. Exhale, down to the belly. Hands under the shoulders as you untuck the toes. Cobra lift. Expand the chest and heart. Exhale back over. Nice long soft lumbers, tucking the toes. Let's take one or two more. Just in your own time, move through those spaces. When you're ready, inhale, find your way really gently, conscientiously towards your down dog, knees from the ground. Let's pedal the heels, cycling dog. Just take a moment to just kind of stretch that lower back. Find more equal power through arms, knuckles, hands, and maybe even bend the knees a little bit to keep that feeling of uplift in the tailbone. When you're ready, right foot coming off the ground, into the air, just a sweep and step between the hands. Inhaling, we're going to move down to the left knee. Exhaling, keep your left toes tucked as you find that half Hanuman. So you might be flicking the ball of the foot off the ground, bowing the head, scooping tailbone back, or you might see if you can find your balance. Just look after your knees here. If it doesn't feel good to balance, just take the hands to the ground. So we're circling back the way we came, inhaling, lifting the chest as you move into your lunge, arms come up. You could be slightly back from the hips, don't feel you have to sit forwards. Lifting and maybe slightly leaning back. Exhale, sort of drop the hands. As you move back and tuck the toes, find that your arms help you to rise up onto your lunge. Inhaling, rising the hands, balling up the fists and coming out to that nice wide kind of right angle cactus through the arms. We're circling back. Inhale to rise the arms, slightly leaning back or keeping yourself really level here. Shoulders down from the ears and hips are kind of squeezing together. Exhale, release your hands until they're either side of your hips facing behind you, and we're just going to take a little rock. Don't worry if you need a few bounces getting here to take your left foot off the ground. Let's take your left foot gently forwards. Press that out ahead of you, palms face the front of your mat. And then fingertips slightly behind your chest to open that fingertip to fingertip line. Squeezing the hips together. Last deep breath. Let's grab that floating shin, give it a little squeeze in. And exhale, land into standing. Release the hands, maybe release the breath. We're going to step back with your left foot, find your prasarita, wide feet, feet in line with the top and the bottom of the mat roughly. Inhale to swim the arms up, exhale to open the chest, hands interlaced. If that's not comfortable to interlace today, you can take hands to elbows of course. Bring your breath in and up through the heart. Exhaling, lengthening forwards. Find that telescoping crown. Coming forwards, extending, giving you more space in the torso as you fall. If you need to, you can always bend into the knees or release the hands early. Start releasing the hands when you're ready. Drop them to the floor, give the head a little shake. And we're going to start to turn your feet face out, your heels face in. So that we're coming into that kind of wide frog squat. Making sure that your knees are comfortable and above the ankles. They don't have to be too deeply bent, but we do want to make sure that the knees aren't dragging in, putting pressure on the inside of the patella. So as we breathe, we're going to take each forearm to the inside of each thigh and just create enough balance here, maybe just to take a small swaying movement, nothing too pushy. As we exhale, let's climb up another level, hands on top of each thigh. And keep your back really tall so that your muscles are sort of pressing up against the spine as we slide slightly down into your goddess squat. So there's a little bit of space in those thighs. I'm going to take hands to those thighs and sort of release a little bit of the space, just turning your chest towards the front of the mat. And your left hand might be slightly pushing along the inside of the left thigh, but again, nothing too forceful. Inhale, center. Exhale, right shoulder comes down. Inhale, center. We might take one of each more. Find your breath within it. As we exhale, turn those feet facing directly out again to fold. I'm going to face the front of the mat and find one vinyasa. Can be coming through your plank, to the knees, to the belly, or hovering your chest forwards in your up dog. Up dog or cobra as you breathe in. Child's pose or straight to down dog. This time, left leg comes off the ground into the air just for one stretching breath. Exhale, this left leg is now going to come under, landing the shin for your pigeon pose. So we're going to shuffle that right knee back. Keep nice equal hips. And maybe take some sort of cushioning under the left hip if it's needed today, just to keep us feeling balanced. And lift the chest and find your way to the forearms. And I suggest starting at the forearms, just so that you can really drop the head. Drain out any feelings of staleness from sleep or blue light. Feel that that's our way of just melting down, freeing up that crown. If this position isn't suiting you today, just come back to your child's pose. We're still in the stretch of that left glute. Just have a more equal lower back. As we take 3 breaths more, you might come out further, all the way down onto the thigh. Making sure that you feel as equal as you can in the hips and back, so your spine can make a really nice long line. So as we breathe in, let's start to pick up the chest. Meet in child's pose. Left knee slides back. Again, the knees might be a little bit wide, so you're into that slight hip stretch too. And here we're going to take the palms together and bring your palms behind your head, so you get this feeling of stretching the underarms. Exhaling, release the hands forwards. Let's come through down dog. Wriggle those legs, wriggle the heels. Give those legs some energy back, and then just tuck the right knee underneath you to come to the shin. So we want something to help the hips stay level. We'll go under that right hip with a cushion or just a jumper. Shuffle the left knee back, almost trying to squeeze in, wrap in your left thigh to your center line. Breathe in to find a little more length through the chest, breathe out to find the forearms. So if this is a little challenging today, maybe just come back to child's pose so that we're taking the same attitude of just dropping the head, freeing up the jaw. Maybe there's a feeling of an inwards connection here as our focus turns in towards the chest. For the last 3 breaths, if you're happy here or moving back to child's pose, that's great. If you want to come further, we can. We reach the hands out. Feel a sense of sort of squeezing the hips level, scooping back the tailbone. Nice free long spine. Inhaling, let's start to lift the chest. Move back, sliding to your child's pose. So breathing in to come into your tabletop, switch the feet underneath you, find your way over and into your cross-legs position, Sukhasana. If you're at the back of the mat like me, let's move into the middle of the mat. Take your feet at hips distance apart. We're just going to lift the chest and then mellow that rounded space into the back of the shoulders. And I want you to feel like this is, first of all, energetic, but it kind of becomes more subtle. So there's a feeling of inner uplift and a sort of untangling of the shoulders. As we let go of the shins, coming down to the ground into semi-supine, I like to continue that movement. So kind of lift the belly button, there's a bit of space under the back. And then we exhale, we bring the belly button back to the mat and tuck the tailbone under. And do that a couple more times. Make it as sort of small as we can, sort of breathing more deeply so the breath becomes a more significant movement. When you're ready, just relax the spine, chin towards the chest. Open up the arms nice and wide, in line with the shoulders. I'll try and describe this well so you don't have to look, but of course you can look. So right hand comes to the chest. You're going to slide your right hand down your left arm. So through the shoulder, towards the forearm, and then until the palms come together. So you're lifting your right shoulder off the ground and taking a full breath. Breathing in. And breathing out to sort of melt back to where we started. Right hand over the heart. And then right hand open to your side, under the sofa in my case. Left hand on top of the heart. Breathing in to slide your left hand down your right arm until hands come together. So your left shoulder lifts from the ground. Breathing in. Breathing out. Inhaling. Exhaling to release. All the way back and open. Let's start to just take your left knee towards your chest. Slide your right leg away. We're going to take your left knee with your right hand and find just a little twist. So your left knee is moving gently over to the right. Don't feel that you have to go really far with this twist. You don't have to meet the ground by any means. You're just dropping maybe your gaze slightly towards the ceiling or slightly back towards the left hand as you take a full breath more. And then breathing in, keep going to your right side. So you're actually rolling your whole body over to the right. Your left knee is just slightly bent and up and your right leg is extended. As we inhale, we're just going to kick your right foot towards your glutes. And see if you can catch that with your left hand. If you can't, don't worry. You can just let that foot sort of bend towards your glutes. Find a gentle quad stretch. If we're connecting our left hand to our right foot, we're squeezing that heel towards the buttocks, pushing the hips slightly forwards to extend that glute a little more. Exhaling, start to release. Inhaling, moving into center, making sure that your hips feel nice and centered too. Opening up the arms nice and wide, we're going to switch over. So your right knee is gently coming to the chest. Your left leg is extending out long. Left hand's going to come and take your right knee and just take it on a little journey towards the left. And again, it doesn't have to be the biggest movement. Just taking a full breath to wring out the body. And then just follow your knee with your chest and your arms. So you're actually ending up completely on your left side with your right knee up, if that makes sense. As we breathe in, we're going to see if we can kick your left foot up behind you. Maybe find that with the right hand and squeeze the heel towards the glute. Don't worry if you're not making it to the hand. Just kick that heel up behind you. Take a small elongation of the quad muscle. If you're grabbing that foot, just push the hips gently forwards. There's a feeling of accentuating the pelvis forwards as you pull the foot back, so you get that little iota of extra space across your quad. Exhaling to release. Inhaling to come to your back. Shifting to center, give your shins a squeeze. Flex the heels so there's loads of weight on the lower back. And then exhale, let's press the feet and hands into the air, stretch the backs of the hamstrings, rotate the ankles, rotate the wrists. And exhale to drop into a really nice heavy Shavasana, just for a few moments. So as you let your eyes close, feel as if you could just imagine a space where we just exist. The breath manages itself, and we just gently observe any tingling or new space through the body. So very, very gradually starting to bring your awareness back to land gently at your center and spread out through every muscle, every corner, fingertips, toe tips, crown. Bringing a slightly deeper inhale and exhale through the body for these last 3 breaths. Feeling as your inhale is the let go part, as though your exhale is just removing any barriers we put in our own way, letting peace in. And starting to wriggle the fingers and toes. Maybe stretching those arms above you on the ground. Take a full exhale, flop of the arms either side of you. Bring the knees up. Move over to your left. We'll slowly, slowly make our way to cross legs. And as you sit tall, just taking the hands together, prayer position towards that third eye. honouring yourself with a bow here. Bringing your thumbs to the heart. Namaste. Thank you for joining me. I hope that you're feeling a bit more connected, and I really look forward to seeing you next time. Nams and ciao for now.